Welcome to the Tone Lounge. My name is Jonathan. Today we are checking out the Harley Benton Fuzzy Logic. It's their take on a germanium-based fuzz face. Now, I bought the Fuzzy Logic, the Silly Fuzz, and the Big Fur from Harley Benton. If you're interested in watching the other two, I'm going to be doing demos on those as well. We're going to be putting the Fuzzy Logic through its paces. We're going to be using light, medium, and crank tones, and I'm going to be using other pedals to boost the front end of this, and then I'm going to try putting the fuzz through other pedals and see what that sounds like. I'm going to be using the Bad Cat 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐒 30 as my main amp for this video. So I'm using the channel 1 on the Bad Cat. That's a clean channel, or as clean as I can get it with humbuckers. We have the gain at 9 on the Fuzzy Logic and the volume is cranked all the way. You're going to see that this particular pedal isn't all that loud. So when I instantiate it and I go for light overdrive, I'm not getting anywhere near unity gain. I'm quite below it. So here's the tone. Now here's my favorite combination, a Strat with a fuzz. Here's the amp tone. Now I have the gain cranked all the way and the volume also cranked all the way on the Fuzzy Logic. I'm going to show you the difference in volume between instantiating the pedal and when you're in bypass. And I'm going to do the traditional, just roll off the volume to see how well it cleans up. So here is the guitar through the Bad Cat. Right now I have the Fuzzy Logic at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go for a more medium to high gain type of fuzz. I have the Sonicake Blue Screamer in the Tube Screamer mode in the front of the Fuzzy Logic just to see what it sounds like and how it reacts when it's getting boosted by another pedal. And then we're going to flip that order around and see what the Fuzzy Logic sounds like through the Blue Screamer. So let's get started. So now I just flipped the order, so I have the Fuzzy Logic going into the Blue Screamer, and it's the exact same settings. So we're going to listen to the Blue Screamer first, and then we're going to instantiate the Fuzzy Logic. I'm going to be trying the exact same setting on the Fuzzy Logic, but this time I'm going into a Wampler Belle. It is a very different circuit, so the pedal is going to react very differently, much more like an amp. So we're going to get started with that. We're going to start with the Wampler Belle, have a listen to what the pedal sounds like. Then we're going to listen back to the Fuzzy Logic to have a reference point. Then I'm going to play with the both of them. Now we're going to check out the volume and the gain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the gain down all the way, and then I'm just gonna crank it up and see how much gain we have on tap. So right off the bat, there's not a whole lot of gain difference between 0 and 12. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check out how much volume we have on tap. I've put the volume at noon, and you know that you're at noon because there's a bit of a recess whenever you're turning the knob. You can feel it settle in at noon. Despite not having a white line on the black knob, you can still feel whenever you're dead center. So that's where we're starting out. Here's my opinion of the Fuzzy Logic. I'm going to be listing the pros and cons. We're going to start with the cons. First thing that bugs me about this pedal is the volume. Everything cranked, you instantiate it, and it feels like the volume of this pedal is below your actual signal. So it's not at unity, and you can't get unity. You can't even, forget about getting past unity. It's not going to work. So if you're playing in a band and you buy this and you hope to be heard with your fuzz, sadly, I don't know if it's just my unit or if they're all like this, but this particular unit, I wouldn't bring that to a gig because, I'd get lost in the mix. I couldn't crank this thing loud enough. Obviously, you could put something after to crank up the volume, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having a fuzz in the first place if you have to match it with something else to perform the job it should be doing from the get-go. Mind you, I'm not trying to be super difficult because I did pay 19 euros for this thing. It's not the most expensive pedal, but it's actually its biggest flaw. It's just the fact there's not much, not much juice on tap. That's pretty much the only con I can find. Everything else, it's a sturdy box. You have that recess in the volume, which I think is a nice addition, despite not having a white line on the black knob. It is a very sturdy and very usable fuzz. The tone is also very good. When you get it cranked by having something else in the front, you heard it gets very spitty, which is, it's a tone. It's a cool tone if that's what you're looking for. But I don't think that's how you should be using it if you're going for the more traditional thing. And then sending it to the Blue Screamer, which is more of a tube screamer type of tone. To me, that wasn't my favorite tone. I demonstrated it because I know some people really like fuzz into a tube screamer type pedal. I didn't think that was the best match. I did prefer it with the Wampler Belle. It sounded better to me that way because it reacted much more like a fuzz going into a dirty amp. So it's going to be a question if you go for this fuzz to find out if you prefer to boost it before or after and finding the right pedal combination. It is a fuzz. It is capricious, but that's why I love fuzz. And, I find this one to be a keeper. I like it. I wouldn't use it in a live setting, but I might use it in a recording or just for the fun of it. If I want to get a fuzz face type of tone, I'm going to pop this thing on and, no problem. I wouldn't be ashamed to rock it. I just wish there were more volume on tap on this guy. So that's my opinion. If you have any question, let me know in the comments section below. And in the meantime, if you want to watch the Silly Fuzz or the Big Fur, I'm going to be popping those on screen right now. Click on one of those videos and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.